What is going on, everybody? John Middlekauff, GoLow Pod, right after the PGA Championship. Subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen. It's on the 3 and Out feed with me. You're watching this on YouTube. Smash that like button, leave a comment, as well as subscribe to the page. Live on AMP all week long. All of our content. Download the AMP app. Lot coming up. Michael Block, Brooks Koepka wins his 5th major, and we will dive into much more. But first, do you want to go to a golf tournament? Do you want to go to a sporting event, concert, comedy show? Well, the official ticketing app of this show, the GoLow podcast, is Gametime. Go to your smartphone, download the Gametime app. Just type in your app store, type in Gametime, download it, search tickets, whatever you want. And when you buy a pair of tickets for you, your girlfriend, your son, your wife, your brother, your friend, whatever, use the promo code GOLOW, G-O-L-O-W, G-O-L-O-W, and go to an event. Do it on me. $20 off. Thanks for using that promo code, everybody. Keep hammering it. Can't thank you guys enough. Gametime loves it. Download the Gametime app, promo code GOLOW, and go check yourself out a sporting event, comedy show, or a concert. Get some live music in. Okay, that was a fantastic PGA Championship. From start to finish, all week long, the ups and the downs of the weather, to a Sunday that was pretty majestic. Not trying to get my Jim Nance on here and be too hyperbolic, but that Michael Block shot, I think I got to start with him, then we'll get into Koepka, and then we'll hit on a couple other things that, I thought really happened this week. But I think the unique part about the sport of golf, and I tell this to anyone that I talk to, I try to talk about this to those of you that listen, football is the biggest sport in this country by a wide margin. I love the sport of football, just like many of you do. It literally pays my bills. I've dedicated a large percentage of my life to it. But like most people probably listening, I have not played the game past high school. And there is a small percentage of people that do. And then there is a small percentage of people past college that are able to play the game professionally. But that is not the case with golf. And unlike basketball, I used to love playing pickup hoops in my 20s. I'm 37 years old. I can't afford to tear an Achilles, to tear a knee. Hell, I don't even ski anymore because I don't want to get injured. And I don't even have children yet. The one thing about the sport of golf is it's probably the one sport / activity you literally can do until you die. It's why any of you guys that play golf regularly, and whether you are a member at a country club or a member at a local muni, and you go out there during the week or the weekend, you will see everyone from a 5-year-old to someone that's 75, 80 years old. It's the special part about the sport. I remember being a kid, my dad loved tennis. But by the time I was like 10 years old, he was 50, he didn't play anymore. Like most activity sports beside the main ones, basketball, football, and baseball, that most of us stopped playing really at the longest in our 20s, you can't do as you get older. And that's the one special part about this sport. And I've loved it from a very young age because I started playing it young. And I'm, quote unquote, addicted to the game. I have a passion for the game, and not even just me playing it, talking about it, watching it, discussing it with other people, because I think it's so unique to all the other sports. And if you're a member at a club or you play consistently at a course, you know a guy there that's probably really good. I have played with players that have played in the US Open or played in PGA Tour events, and I can play them straight up. Obviously, they got to give me strokes, but like you literally can play against them. I ran into Larry Fitzgerald. I didn't talk to him or anything, but I was having breakfast last week, and Larry Fitzgerald was there. He's a big dude. And I was thinking about today, watching Michael Block and Koepka, separated by a couple holes, right? And getting similar celebrations down the stretch. I couldn't have gone up to Larry Fitzgerald and be like, hey, let's take a little Billy over there in the corner booth, give him a football. I'll play linebacker or DB. You just play your position and let me see if I can cover you. But you got to give me a couple steps, right? You can't do that. I can't play J.J. Watt one-on-one. I can. There's no point in playing an NBA player one-on-one basketball. It's not the way it works. But in golf, I could run into Tony Finau or John Rahm or anyone that lives in Scottsdale, and I can play them. They have to give me whatever said strokes are in my handicap, and I can play them at the courses in which they play. Now, some of them clearly private courses I or you would not have access to, but we can go to TPC Scottsdale. I can pay $550 and play Pebble Beach. I can't go play a pickup football game at Lambeau Field, right? Or SoFi Stadium. That's not possible. And on top of that, no one does it. It's really what makes the game of golf so cool. So when you see Michael Block, a PGA teaching professional, having the success he had, he destroyed our entire Ryder Cup team. Morikawa, Finau, Xander, JT, Spieth. He fucking drubbed them. Now, this is a guy who is not some random golfer. He's not me or you. He's not some 3 handicap, some 7 handicap, some 10 handicap. He has played in majors consistently. Several majors. He's been in a couple PGAs. He's played in U.S. Opens. He's a high-end golfer. He still teaches golf to help pay the bills. He's just kind of a working man, right? His profession happens to be golf. And I saw someone tweet it out during the weekend that his average score, his senior year in college, which was, in the late mid-90s, was 77. Now, that's the other thing about golf. You can improve as you age. In most sports, like we listed before, you get worse as you get older. It's what, to me, makes the game so special. It's not like anything else. So, do way more people watch football? Of course. Is football more important to me financially and just in terms of being able to reach people? 100%. 100%. But my relationship with golf is because of guys like Michael Block. That just doesn't... I was glued. So were probably you. And to go 70, 70, 70, 71. And it's one thing to just have a remarkable week. It's another thing over the weekend to play with Justin Rose, who is easily one of the best players over the last 15 years. And Rory McIlroy, is probably a top 2 or 3 player over that period of time. And shoot a combined 1 over par. Just an incredible accomplishment. To watch the guy having so much fun, it felt like you knew him, even though none of us probably do know him. But we all know a Michael Block. And maybe not even a Michael Block who's that good, but it felt like, yeah, that's our neighbor. That's a guy that I've played golf with several times. Because the other thing in the sport of golf, whether you're playing with Tony Finau, Michael Block, or your buddy, you play for 10, 20 bucks. You go after the round, go to the bar, get some appetizers and slam a couple beers and bullshit usually about sports. And that's what it felt like he represented today. It felt like he represented all of us that love golf, that love watching golf, that know we're never going to sniff any meaningful tournament, let alone a major championship. And it felt like he knew it. And that's what I thought was so cool about it. It's another thing to know it and having this responsibility and this pressure. It's another thing to kick ass and take names. The dude had a hole-in-one. When he said, I have a pet peeve. I have several pet peeves, but one of them, I hate living the dream. Because I think most people that say it, like they're kind of miserable inside. It's such a bullshit saying. It's your classic saying that, like, no, you're not living the dream. You would rather be doing something else. But he said it several times, and I'm like, yeah, I kind of believe him. Because he even acknowledged yesterday on Saturday that it's probably never going to get any better than this. There's a decent chance in my golfing life, this is the best weekend of my life. And he's probably right. And then to get up and down on 18, to qualify for next year's PGA Championship, as Jim Nantz said, I mean, a hole one today. He's exchanging scorecards with Rory McIlroy, and Jim Nantz is on the mic. Like, you can't make that up on a Sunday in a major, where the winning score is going to be single digits under par. So it wasn't some just like, some run-of-the-mill major. I mean, this was a very, very difficult test. And he kicked the crap out of the majority of the guys that are going to be in the Ryder Cup on our squad. Besides Scottie and Brooks Koepka, I mean, he drubbed them all. So Michael Block, one of the coolest stories. I'm not even trying to overreact that I can remember. No, I'm like superstar player. Before we dive into what's next, do you know that Angie's List is now Angie, your home for everything home? And as someone who is currently house shopping and who has bought property before, you walk in, you go, well, I need to fix the kitchen. I want to improve this bathroom. I want to fix some stuff in the backyard, and then you go, well, I don't do this for a living. Where do I even start? Who do I even contact? That's where Angie has 20 years of experience combined with new tools to simplify the process. Over 220,000 pros in their network. They can help you get the best price for your product. They have new projects that are priced upfront and clearly lays out the cost before you buy. With Angie, you can request quotes from multiple pros in your area. The pros in your network are locally based. In just a few taps in the Angie app or click on the site, you can have Angie tackle your home service project from start to finish. Download the free Angie mobile app today or visit Angie.com. That's ANGI.com. And speaking of superstar player, what is not debatable now moving forward, and as majors go, if he's healthy, like you just have to consider him now, Rahm, Scottie, Brooks, Rory. Like there are just some names at the top of the betting card. And I was off the scent this week. I'm like, I don't know, man. But when Brooks Koepka is healthy, besides Scottie Scheffler, there is no American who's in his breath. When all the chips are on the table, and it's the reason we watch sports, right? It's the reason why so many of us with our buddies or while we're watching games make fun of guys like Kirk Cousins and Dak Prescott or James Harden, or that watch golf that don't like Patrick Cantlay. I don't care how much money those guys make. James Harden's going to make $450 million playing basketball. He's never going to win a game that means anything to any of us. Cousins and Dak are going to combine make hundreds of millions of dollars, and they're going to get beat every single year in the playoffs. And listen, there's nothing, they're remarkable careers. They're super rich, but like we watch sports, what do you do in the playoffs, right? It's why we hold the Michael Jordans. Just watch that movie. Fantastic. Tom Brady's, Patrick Mahomes, you know, what Jokic is doing right now, the Currys, the LeBrons, all the great players of my lifetime, Tiger Woods, Phil Mickelson, to such high regards, Lewis Hamilton, you name the sport, because we judge you when the lights are the brightest, when all the chips are in the middle of the table. How do you react? And the one cool part about sports is there are clear lines of delineation. Certain games, certain tournaments, certain whatever the sport is, matter more than others, right? In basketball, the NBA playoffs matter dramatically more than a random game in January. I say it all the time in baseball. There is not one game that happened Sunday, May 21st that matters at all. It doesn't. Yet in the middle of October, in Game 5 on the road for a pitcher, like that game could help define his career. Madison Bumgarner just got paid $35 million within the last month to leave the Diamondbacks. They DFA'd him. Yet where I come from in Northern California, that guy will be a lifetime legend because he came out of the bullpen in Game 7 of the World Series on the road. He's a starting pitcher and shoved like 6 innings and carried the Giants to their 3rd championship in 5 years. So I don't care how crappy and how derailed his career got after that moment. I will judge him on what he did when everyone was watching, when it mattered the most. And in golf, 4 times a year matter dramatically more. There is a gap. I don't know how wide it is. It feels like it's never been wider. That the 4 majors compared, you can give me the elevated events, and listen, they're cool. I like watching them, and they're playing for a lot of money. And it's fun to consume and gamble on, and I watch them. But in terms of the importance of winning one of those tournaments and winning the other 4 tournaments throughout the year, the Masters, the U.S. Open, and the British Open, as I call it, I know the guys across the pond call it the Open Championship, it's not even close. I don't care how much cash they give to win the FedEx Championship. What Koepka does in these tournaments is absolutely incredible, because we thought like he was derailed because he was injured. Remember, he couldn't bend over. And then you watch Full Swing, he was kind of being like, I don't know, my body might be shot. I might not have it anymore. He said that, not us. And then this year he's healthy to come back and to be right in position to win the Masters. And, you know, kind of, listen, he had a rough day. He had a rough day, but it's not like he finished 30th. He finished top 4. And then to come into this tournament and go 66, 66, 67 Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And, you know, the leaderboard won't reflect it. He was in complete control. And he had some moments today where it thought like Hovland could, you know, at least tie him, but he never did. Because that fucking guy makes more clutch par putts. Listen, he makes birdies. He makes, huge shots when it has to happen, swing times, but no guy in the modern era makes more 8 to 12-foot par putts on Saturday and Sunday in major championships. And this guy has now entered, legendary status. He's past Spieth. He's past Rory with his 5th major. To me, it's not about the 5 majors. I'm going, when does he get 6? Because now at LACC, when we talk about the favorites, John Rahm, Scottie Scheffler, Rory, those guys have been the clear favorites the last several tournaments. This guy has to be mentioned there. The odds have not reflected it. And I don't even know if they will reflect it at LACC, but they better. Because there is no way, his odds should be better than Rory McIlroy going into LACC. His odds should be every bit as good as Scottie Scheffler and John Rahm going into LACC. And if they're not, we're all morons for not betting it. Because you watch him today and you watch him at the Masters for 8 rounds this year. And I don't know if Zach Johnson's going to pick him to go on the Ryder Cup team. Listen, it's his prerogative. The OWGR points and the way they do it, he's not going to be an automatic pick. But besides Scottie Scheffler, he's better than them all. It's just a fact. Week in, week out, when it matters at these big tournaments, JT, Spieth, Morikawa, Xander, Tony, they're not Brooks Koepka. He's got, I looked it up before I hopped on, 13 top 10s in majors, 5 top 5s, and obviously the 5 wins. This guy comes through when it matters the most, and it's all we want out of our athletes. It literally is, to just get it done when the lights are the brightest. Because, listen, this tournament might not pay out as well as some of these other elevated events, but it creates your career at a higher level by winning this thing. Like Wyndham Clark would easily hand in his win of a couple weeks ago for this championship. So would every single player this year, non-John Rahm at the Masters, including Scottie Scheffler at the Players. So Brooks Koepka feels like he's back. I mean, this was a big loss for the PGA Tour. There's no way around it, because if he's going to be healthy, DJ was a little bit older, had been playing at a higher level for a lot longer. Bryson was much more of a very fickle product. This guy was, now you could argue he didn't care that much about the random tournaments, though he would, win the Waste. He would win events, but just not having this guy around kind of sucks. And honestly, not having the high end of Liv had a good week. Having Bryson, which has gone through more body changes than anyone I remember, like a 3-year span, but it was fun watching him play well. Cam Smith, at one point in time, you looked up today, it felt like, God, could he finish top 5? What did he end up finishing? He was awesome today. Cam Smith shot. Where is my man, Cam Smith? Can't even find him, but he was good today. I don't know why he's not showing up here, but he was, I thought he was, oh, there he is. He shot 500 today. Finished top 10. So you got Cam Smith, Bryson, Brooks. I think everyone misses DJ. I mean, those were the guys, right? Phil's just a name at this point who's going to play well, at Augusta. But that was the crew of guys that lifted from the PGA Tour that hurt. There's just no way around it. All the Sergios and the Ian Poulters and the Lee Westwoods, whatever. But that group of players were just big time, major winning, box office level talents. And Koepka, when it comes to the majors, even more than DJ. I mean, DJ is more accomplished given that he's been winning longer. I mean, he's older. But Brooks is just the better player at the majors. Not really disputable. And today was, an incredible accomplishment by him winning his 5th major. But I also think it speaks to, when's he going to join Phil, Lee Trevino, and Nick Faldo at number 6? Because I'll be honest, if he stays healthy, that's the only thing that can derail him. Because if he's healthy, how does he not win another major? Honestly, I think he's every bit the favorite. I like John Rahm a lot at LACC. I think Koepka's got to be right there. If Koepka's not 7-8 to 1, if you can get him 12, 13, 14 to 1, I think you hammer it at LACC, because holy moly, can this guy play when it matters? Another guy that can really play is Scottie Scheffler. I mean, yesterday kind of imploded. You just thought maybe not his week. He'll finish 12th or 10th or 7th or, 15th. What did he do today? Shot 65. He ties for the low round of the weekend and was just awesome. Like I said, There are two Americans right now in these big tournaments that have separated themselves from the pack of awesome players. I mean, multimillionaire winners, guys that have won majors. But Scottie Scheffler and Brooks Koepka are at a different level. And you saw it today. I mean, they shot combined 8 under par. Now, it was a little different. Scottie got to come from behind and just let it fly. But so did Rory. And I got to give Rory credit because early on in this tournament, it felt like he could get derailed. I thought he battled. Like, I know Koepka can battle. I know Scheffler can battle. Hell, I know Hovland can battle. Sometimes with Rory, it feels like when he's rolling, it's like a football team. When I got like a 14-point lead, I'm going to win the game every time. But some of those teams, that are like, can come from behind, all those Patriot Brady teams, they could be down 7 going into the fourth quarter and you felt pretty good about them. The Chiefs are a lot like that now. They have a lot of mental toughness, a lot of mental fortitude. A little adversity does not derail them. Felt for a long time adversity can just derail Rory. And I do think these last 2 years, he at no point this week could he have won this tournament, but he definitely could have mailed it in. And as a guy that mailed it in after the Masters, felt like he showed a lot of signs of life. I mean, he finished T7, but after kind of a really rough Thursday, 69, 69, 69, especially in the weather. Like when I think Rory McIlroy, I don't think a guy grinding away in the wind and the cold, and he did. So I thought today was a pretty positive, looking forward for Rory the rest of this season. Something to build on. And it would be awesome to see him right there with a Rahm, Scottie, or Koepka. Like, seriously, not like playing 3 or 4 groups ahead on Saturday and Sunday, but like in the final group with one of those guys at LACC, at the Open. And I hope we get that because I thought this weekend was awesome. I really did. The course shined. And people often ask, like, what is the PGA Championship, right? I thought this week was the PGA Championship. Kind of has a U.S. Open feel to it. You can say, like, why don't they mix it up and play courses we've never seen before? Or why don't they just play really freaking hard courses? It was very enjoyable to watch them play a course where at any moment, even Koepka had a 2-shot lead, he could make a bogey. Like sometimes when they play some of these courses, especially in the majors, I mean, it doesn't really happen at the Masters, right? If you got a 2-shot lead on the back 9, it's going to be hard for you to make a couple bogeys because there are several birdies, coming down the pike. And today it's like, yeah, you could make a birdie coming down the stretch if you hit the fairway. But if I miss the fairway, I've hit it in a bunker. I mean, look at Viktor Hovland on 16. He did the same thing Corey Connors did on Saturday. And it was hard to watch. And you felt like Viktor Hovland's entire body fall out, his heart fall into his stomach. You felt for him. But it's like that's playing in a major championship. The line of, being there, forcing Brooks to go to extra holes, and being tied for second with Scottie Scheffler is that. It's the difference of 5 yards, being in the fairway or being in a shitty spot in a bunker that has a high lip. And I thought the course was awesome. I really did. I really enjoyed it. A lot of people said, like, don't get your hopes up. It's kind of bland. I really enjoyed that type of golf. We don't get it that much anymore. We get so many birdie fests. We get so many places where you can spray it everywhere and the rough isn't that penal. I enjoy long rough. I enjoy watching, like, if you miss the fairway, you have to chip it out. And there's some luck involved with how it falls. Well, so be it. It's golf. I mean, a huge element of golf is luck and things out of your control. Just because you hit a beautiful shot, sometimes you might miss it by 5 yards and it bounces the wrong way and you're in the bunker. I never like where these guys, when they bitch and moan about saying, I don't get rewarded for a good shot. Like, who says you have to get rewarded? Where's that in the rule book? Especially at the highest level. I mean, us random midweek hacks that are just trying to break 80 or trying to break 90. Like, we don't get rewarded. Why should you? You're an entertainment product. And I thought this weekend was very, very entertaining. And last but not least, this guy now feels more inevitable given the way he's playing than even like my guy Xander and Tony, which I'm not going to gamble on moving forward for a while. Viktor Hovland's just a better player than basically a lot of our top American guys. Now this is 3 straight majors with him. Final group at the Open, T4 at the Masters, and T2 today at the PGA. I think you got to hammer him for these last 2 majors. He showed a lot of mettle today. I love his demeanor. He doesn't ever look like he's freaked out. I mean, really, the difference of him today was double bogey on 16. It's not like, well, he ended up losing this tournament. No, he shot 68. If you shoot 68 on a Sunday in the final group, at a major that is playing this difficult, you got a pretty good chance. Just happens that Brooks shot 66. Obviously, Hovland was one down coming in today, but I thought he was awesome. I mean, he's a ball striking Jesse. His chipping is vastly improved. I mean, that was a thing that me and Sobel have talked about for years. It's hard to bet on guys to win these big tournaments when chipping is such a major question mark. That's the thing with Morikawa. Putting is such a major question mark. I watched Hovland basically every shot the last 2 days. I thought I was very confident, especially coming Sunday, that he was going to get up and down on all these shots. And he consistently did. I mean, he was putting himself, everything was 7-6 feet and in. I mean, talking about tough chips, buried lies, short-sided. He was excellent. I mean, this guy's a young star. He's going to win a ton of tournaments. He already has, an incredible amount of scar tissue in a short period of time. Yet where it's not, there's difference in scar tissue, right? There's one, hey, I'm in the final group. I shoot 77. I finished T18. It's like, well, I played really good for 3 days, and then I shit the bed on Sunday. That's not what's happening here. That is not what's happening here at all. I'm 25 years old. I'm in the final group with a guy with 4 majors. I ended up not winning, but shit, I shot 68, right? Bryson shot 70. Roy shot 69. Rowe shot 71. Fuck, I'm right there. So I'm buying a lot more Viktor Hovland stock. I love watching him play that buttercut, watching him strike those irons, makes a lot of putts, makes a ton of birdies. And if he's going to chip like that, he already was an ATM machine. Like, to me, he's like Patrick Cantlay. Like, every single week, bringing it. Now he's figured out the majors. He's nothing like Patrick Cantlay. Like, he is way better. So, a lot of respect for Viktor Hovland. Just awesome PGA Championship led by Michael Block and Brooks Koepka.